Start. Welcome, welcome. We are so excited to have this opportunity to talk to you about something that we are very passionate about at Everyday Independence. The Improved Daily Living program, we are just so excited about the rollout and how it has been received so far. And we are seeing some amazing results from our participants. And we're actually looking at some of the amazing quality of life changes that are happening for our participants. So yeah, we're very, very excited to have you here. I'm just going to do the acknowledgement of country. Acknowledgement of country. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which our site is held. We pay our respect to elders past, present and future. Thanking Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders for their continued connection to land, to water and community. And we are acknowledging the important role that they play with our community. I'd also like to add, may we walk gently on the land together. Our why at Everyday Independence. We strive every day to lead and support individuals, their families, communities, and our nation to become a global leader for inclusion. This is something very, very personal to all of our practitioners at Everyday Independence. This is something that we live and breathe, and it's often something that we talk about together. I guess it reminds us of the enormous responsibility that we have and the commitment that we are making to change the lives of our participants. It is such a privilege and such an amazing opportunity to be part of their journey and to see the significant changes in their lives. EI is invested and is committed to playing a really major part in inclusion. And obviously, we want to become a nation global leader for inclusion. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our speakers today. Claudia is our PBS Advanced Therapy Mentor, Clinical Governance, so many qualifications, Advanced Behaviour Support Practitioner, as well as an occupational therapist. I truly believe that Claudia has an amazing lens when participating, engaging with our participants, because she can truly see so many dynamics and so many areas that she can support and help our participants. It's just absolutely amazing. She's had 6 years of service with Everyday Independence. Claudia is an absolute wealth of knowledge and she is definitely the practitioner that I go to when I'm given any of those curly scenarios that might be happening with my participants. And she's absolutely exceptional. She's a professional and she's dedicated to all of her participants. So welcome, Claudia. Shelby is our PBS practitioner. She is absolutely talented and she is one of our most determined positive behaviour support practitioners. I guess her superpower is being able to build those relationships very, very quickly with our participants and their families, build that rapport, which is actually the foundation of everything that we do at EI. Being able to create meaningful connections, to support others. She's committed to change 100%, and she has 2 years of service at EI. I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Caitlin. I am a behaviour support practitioner, therapy mentor. I have an education background and I have a counselling background. I'm very, very passionate about mental health and wellness. And I always, in the back of my mind, I always think, never ever forget the human element of what we're working with. They are not just an NDIS number. They actually, we're invested in their outcomes. We're part of the journey. We celebrate with them. So I think it's really, really important to have practitioners that are truly passionate about their people that they support. And I'm coming up with 2.8 years at EI. We're all obviously really passionate about what we do. Very, very quickly, I want to make a special mention to Christina. Christina is is our amazing content designer. She spent so much time putting all of this together. She has 3.5 years of experience with EI, and her role is the engagement lead. So this is the most exciting part now. I get to talk to you about the agenda. We're going to be talking about the key differences between specialist behaviour support and the IDL programs. We're going to be going through the overview of improved daily living programs. We're going to talk about program delivery, program outcomes, and in the end, we're going to talk about any of your questions and hopefully answer them if we have time. I do want to just let you know that if you have a look at the bottom of your Zoom, you're going to have a Q&A box with a question mark. Please feel free to put your questions in that box there for us so we can start to go through, and when the time comes, we'll actually go through and answer your questions if time permits. Now I'm going to hand over to Claudia.
Thank you so much, Kate, and thank you for that lovely introduction. I love what you put together there. So I'm going to talk to you about why we've developed these programs here at Everyday Independence and give you a little bit of an overview over the next few slides of what the difference is between the Improved Daily Living programs and the specialist program that we also deliver here at Everyday Independence. So since we launched our specialist behaviour support program where improved relationship funding is utilised, we noticed there was a significant gap in services provided to those participants who have moderate or ongoing behaviours but don't have access to the improved relationship funding. This might also include those participants who have moderate behaviours but no restrictive practices in place, which may not mean they're getting that improved relationship funding. So our IDL programs were designed to deliver streamlined behaviour intervention packages to participants who have those moderate or ongoing challenging behaviours but don't require the intensive specialist behaviour support. The program is specifically tailored for individuals with improved daily living funding who can benefit significantly from focused intervention from either a behaviour support practitioner or our allied health practitioners who have skills in addressing and supporting participants with challenging behaviours and supporting to increase that quality of life and develop healthier habits. The programs have been designed to support participants across the lifespan. So this includes younger children under 9 who may be supported by a key worker, right up to the age of those youths or adults who might be supported by other clinicians such as OTs, speechies, physios, or yourselves that are here today as support coordinators and plan managers. So we just want to give a bit of an overview for you guys today in terms of how to refer to our service here at Everyday Independence for these participants. So that also includes if you're putting in a new referral for a participant, they'll be linked in with one of our primary practitioners who might be an OT, speech pathologist or physio, who will support your participant along their journey throughout these programs. So the purpose of that is to really support with following the completion of these intervention packages, outcomes can still continue to be achieved when that behaviour practitioner or allied health therapist with the background in behaviour management might step out. So I'm going to move you across to the next slide on here, which is going to talk about the key differences between specialist behaviour support, which is the improved relationship funding, and what our programs here at Everyday Independence on the Improved Daily Living programs are. So I'll firstly start with the Improved Daily Living program. So it is delivered under the IDL funding line item within a person's plan. It's focused and targeted intervention, and it follows a really clear structure to support the participant and their support team. It's provided to those participants, as I've mentioned earlier, with moderate or ongoing challenging behaviour. And within this package, we also provide a behaviour and communication support plan. So for those of you that do support in the specialist behaviour space that has improved relationship funding, you might see those really big comprehensive behaviour support plans. Within the IDL programs, that isn't provided, but a snapshot is onto how we can support with building those capable environments, skilled families and supports, as well as supporting the participant to achieve their outcomes. So the Improved Daily Living programs are delivered by either a behaviour support practitioner or allied health practitioner who has skills in supporting participants with moderate behaviours, and it's a package intervention of minimum of 18 hours. Whereas the specialist behaviour support does identify significant behaviours of concern and works alongside participants with restrictive practices. Again, it's targeted and tailored and intensive behavioural support, where a functional behaviour assessment and a comprehensive behaviour support plan are provided to support the team. It's a multi and interdisciplinary support with strategies in place, and it's delivered by our registered behaviour support practitioners in the NDIS. So allied health practitioners are not able to deliver that program, obviously, because we need to be registered with the NDIS Commission. And within the specialist positive behaviour support, we're required to follow requirements for reporting and our specialist workflow as outlined by the NDIS Quality and Safeguards Commission. So I've already mentioned a little bit about who delivers the program, but I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail for you all today. So as mentioned before, those that deliver the program are either behaviour support practitioners or allied health practitioners who have skills in supporting participants with moderate behaviours of concern, but don't require the intensive ongoing support through the Improved Relationships funding. Our practitioners deliver services under the Improved Daily Living category and are not delivering specialist behaviour support. So as we understand, this service that we're delivering here today at Everyday Independence and we're talking to you about, it is unique, but we know that our behaviour support practitioners often possess the necessary and qualified skills and experience to deliver therapy supports that are not under the Improved Relationship line item. Our practitioners work alongside the participant and their supports to understand how and why the behaviour is happening and what's influencing the behaviour. So this includes in identifying the strengths and challenges across the environment, within the family unit, within the support worker unit, within the home, and supporting with working with the participants and their supports to address these and embed routine and habits into their everyday life. We want to focus on developing skills, and this can often lead to an increase of quality of life and reduced behaviours of concern. I just do also want to confirm that those behaviour support practitioners that are delivering services under the Improved Daily Living have been, they do hold a minimum bachelor's degree and have been deemed suitable by the NDIS Quality and Safeguards Commission to act as a behaviour support practitioner. And we also have support from our auditors around this as well. So just to give you a little bit of an overview of that. Now I'm going to move to the fun part to give you a quick overview of what our package is. So it is just going to be an overview today because I really want to get you to hear the stories about how these programs have helped to increase quality of life, not behaviours, but reduce the behaviours of concern for some of our participants. So an overview of the package is it's 18 hours. So within that package, what will happen is that key therapist or key worker will come out and do the initial assessment, and they'll complete this with the person and their main support. The behaviour support practitioner or allied health therapist who has those specialised skills in behaviour support will then come in to support with the focused assessment, and they'll identify which packaged intervention may be beneficial to support your participant. So if you're coming today and you've got a couple ideas that, yes, my participant would really benefit from the healthy habits package, you can write that in your referral, but your practitioner may decide that, hey, we actually need to start with building mindful and skilled carers first. So it is a 5 intensive sessions with our participants and their supports. And following that, we also complete a review session to show you where we're up to with them. There's also a 1-page behaviour profile that's completed after that focused assessment, but is updated throughout the sessions and also at the end of the intervention package. So I'm going to hand over back to Kate to give a little bit of an overview of what those 4 packages that we currently offer at Everyday Independence look like. Thanks, Kate.
So this is the most exciting part. We get very, very excited about this, but I do want to just make one key point to you. It's really important for the therapist to identify a need. Then they will collaborate with another therapist and they will identify which is going to be the most suitable program for them to engage. So I think it's really important that you understand that process because we want to ensure that we set our participants up for success right at the beginning. So yeah, this is the exciting part. I love it. So building mindful and skilled supports. So this one is tailored to support support workers and carers. And we're looking at really focusing on developing some new skills, empowering them to lead independent lives. So that's our main focus for that one. Delivering active supports. This one's for our participants. Once again, learning some new skills and engaging in meaningful activities, and we want them to obviously lead an active life. When I say meaningful, it's really, really important for us to do the investigation first and find out what our participants truly want to engage in. And we've actually got a few examples coming up soon, and you'll understand why I'm sort of honing in on meaningful, because it actually means something to the participant and we're going to have much more success.
Thanks, Kate.
Okay.
I'm going to start by talking today about the Building Positive Capable Family Units program. So I'm going to speak about a referral that came through to us from one of our key workers for a 6-year-old girl. She was displaying some challenging behaviours that were becoming more frequent and intense and were impacting her ability to engage in daily life activities. The family were able to access the program through our NDIS Improved Daily Living funds. And as the program started, I was able to identify that the challenges this child was facing were linked to her sleep patterns and her co-sleeping with mum, which was leading to disrupted sleep for them both and some strained relationships within the household. I was able to support and guide the parents to explore some solutions, and we worked together to support the child to transition to her own big girl bed. The child's now sleeping independently, and since this has occurred, we've seen a significant improvement in both hers and her family's quality of life, with notable differences in the frequency and the intensity of the behaviours that we were seeing. So I want to highlight that whilst this example seems like a small achievement, the impacts this family and this young child have been extraordinary and have meant that she's able now to focus on more goals that were set within her plan to start with. So that was one of our examples for this program, and I'll hand back to Caitlin now to talk about the next one.
Creating a healthy habit program. We were working with a 14-year-old who was really fussy, would not eat fruit and veggies, wasn't really keen on trying new foods. He only ate salt and vinegar chips, why not? And oat bars. And when he was eating, he wasn't sitting down, he would be on the go. He'd be in his room, he'd be in the lounge room, he'd be in front of an iPad or a TV. There was always mess left on the floor. Family was getting quite frustrated. So we kind of unpeeled that a little bit or unpacked a little bit. And we decided that we would look at providing some cooking experiences for this teenager because we wanted to understand or get him to understand that cooking is such a beautiful thing to do and we can do it together, and then sharing the food is another opportunity to engage in those beautiful relationships that we're trying to build. We made placemats for the families, or at least the participant actually made the placemats, and then they kind of made a rule: no TV, no iPads while we're eating. So they were all joined together, sitting at the table, eating together, sharing a meal, having conversation about their day. And we did actually see quite a reduction in the behaviours. So that was absolutely amazing and a privilege to be part of. Over to you, Claudia.
Thanks, Kate. So I'm just going to give you guys a little bit of an overview of building mindful and skilled supports program and how we supported a 27-year-old participant who was showing demonstrating low to moderate behaviours of concern. She'd often retreat to her bedroom and didn't want to engage. So what happened is the OT went in, they identified that this participant would really benefit from someone with a specialised understanding of behaviour and how we could address it. So the behaviour support practitioner was brought in, and they identified that the behaviours were often focused on her feeling lonely and frustrated, and what she really wanted was a connection. So what this then looked like is the practitioner worked alongside the OT to identify a workshop around relationships, which included consent, boundaries, and social engagement with what the participant could attend. Provided additional resources around making friends, being a good friend, and being safe. And again, seeking that permission and consent, because there had been some real negative experiences for this participant when they'd gone in the community and people had not really understood what they needed. So over the last 6 months, that participant has been supported to create new friendships and go out every Saturday. So as mentioned before, the intervention package was for an 8-week period, and through support for the OT to carry on intervention post-sprint, which a sprint is what we call this internally. So sorry for using that language, but through the package, it was that OT was able to support with developing more areas and supporting to achieve better outcomes for that participant. So that participant has had really great impact out in the community now, and now they're looking at getting a job and spending more time with their peers, which has really increased mood, and throughout that support for the supports around that participant to build those skills. So I'm going to hand back to Kate, who will talk about our next one, which is delivering the active supports program.
So we have a 54-year-old in a wheelchair, and I guess a lot of the time he was spending at home. He wasn't going out. He felt like because he was in a wheelchair, he was limited to where he could go. Behaviours of concern were around him feeling lonely and missing being able to do the things that he wanted to do. So the practitioner went in, they actually talked about, I guess, childhood memories. What did you like doing as a teenager? And we ended up finding out that this participant in particular was actually a 10-pin bowling champion, and used to bowl when he was much younger. And then I guess loneliness, depression, anxiety sort of came in, and he felt like he wasn't able to do it. He actually said to one of the practitioners, "I can't do this." And we were like, "Why not? Why can't we do this?" So we worked with a support team that was supporting him. We looked at barriers, travel, place, what was going to be the most appropriate 10-pin bowling lane, timing, when would be the best time. We know that a behaviour of concern for this participant was around noise and crowds, so we made sure it was done in the morning. So we were able to get this participant into a 10-pin bowling lane, and he's been doing it ever since. Probably going every 2 weeks now. The change in him, the excitement, this new bound energy for life has just been so profound for his quality of life. So this program has absolutely nailed it for him, and he's living the life. He's living his best life. So exciting. I'm going to hand over to Claudia now.
Thanks, Kate. So I know that a lot of you here today are support coordinators or plan managers, or even people that are supporting a participant. So I know you'll all be wanting to know, but what do we get at the end of the intervention? What does that look like? So as I mentioned before, there is a positive behaviour profile, which includes behaviour strategies and communication, which is an individualised plan for the participant. So I know there were some pre-questions in there around what strategies we'll be doing. It is definitely tailored to the participant and their unique needs and the support needs for them. So throughout the intervention package, the profile is updated throughout alongside the participant and their support. So the practitioner coming on board to support with this program would identify what's working and what's not working. Let's trial this for the next week, and when I come back, we can have a look at, do we need to increase it? What does that kind of look like for you? Are there other areas we need to focus on first? So the profile does provide individualized strategies to reduce challenging behaviours, including addressing the influencing factors for those behaviours, while also focusing on increasing quality of life. Your participant and their supports will be supported by the practitioner to build capable environments that improve quality of life and in turn reduce behaviours of concern. Throughout, the practitioner will also work alongside that primary therapist or key worker that I've spoken about before to identify if ongoing support within the improved relationship funding is required. So if we're coming out and we're identifying those intense behaviours of concern or intense restrictive practices, we would then support to advocate for you to get that improved relationship funding through completion of an outcome report. So if the outcome report isn't required and we do need to get improved relationship funding, we would reach out to the coordinator or the local area coordinator to say, hey, we really need to get this funding on board for your participant, considering there's these sorts of risks, and we really want to make sure that we're giving the right level of support. So within this, we do complete an outcome report alongside that primary therapist. And if you do identify that the practitioner, identifies that there does need to be additional sprints and sessions completed, that would again be a conversation. If ongoing support isn't required by our practitioner, you would still be linked in with that primary therapist who'll continue to focus on capacity building with the primary team and that participant to implement ongoing therapy recommendations. So it's just around what is going to be needed for that participant. I can see there's some questions within the chat at the moment that are that's asked that some providers are unable to provide behaviour support under the improved daily living. I just want to remind you, this is not specialist behaviour support. This is for people living with moderate behaviours of concern. So it isn't a specialist area. Our practitioners hold very different, they all hold a minimum bachelor's degree, whether it's a social worker, OT, in education. Some of them have a psychosocial science background. So we all hold different degrees and we all bring unique skills to that. But we do follow the really clear guidelines within our program around how to support the participant. And if there is additional support required, we link back to that support network to really make sure that you're really understanding what we're seeing and we're understanding what you're needing from us too. So it's working together as that collaborative approach. So the behaviour profile is just for the participant and their supports, and it's really to guide intervention and support with ongoing success post-intervention. So we really want to focus on the intervention supporting to reduce behaviours of concern and develop those healthy habits within the 8-week session time frame. But again, we'd work really closely if we identified we need that improved relationship funding instead. Thank you. I'm going to here we go. We're on the Q&A. So I've answered a couple of the questions already, but I'm just going to get them up on my screen. So there was a question around, do we employ social workers? And if so, what role do they play? So they're going to be playing a role within this, similar to how I would as an OT. We're following the intervention, we're identifying what we're needing. Again, we all bring unique skill sets to this. So what the social worker might identify might be different to me, but we're going to support with the same thing if we need to get improved relationship funding. So again, it's going to depend on what your participant needs and the background of our therapist as well. Our practitioners all receive supervision at Everyday Independence too. So myself as an occupational therapist, I might be in a situation where I really need to talk to someone who has a social worker background to get a bit of an idea about, am I on the right track? Do I need to reach out to another service or mainstream service? But again, we'd be linking back to the coordinator to support with that also. What rate is it charged at? So it is at that $193.99 rate because it is delivered under that improved daily living. Let me have a look. Sorry, everyone. I'm just trying to get through them. How does it work under the pay system? So that's probably a question that we need to get local hubs to answer for us, because it's going to depend. If you need an OT to come on board and we identify that this program is going to be really beneficial, it might be working alongside you to get that put into the plan as a stated item. Is it an ATM package for a variety of allied health? Example, OT, it is working alongside that other therapist. So we'd go out for the 16 hours as a behaviour practitioner or allied health therapist that does have a significant understanding of behaviours of concern, and work alongside those OTs to support with ongoing intervention. So we know that participants often require more than just one therapist involved with them to achieve their outcomes. So that might even be within this package we identify there's some breakdown in communication here. Coordinator, we really need to look at if we can get some speech on board and supporting with that too. Marshall, yeah, so that might be, we need to go back and actually get it stated in there that you need some specific supports, but that's where I would be really encouraging, put the referral in and the local team will be able to support from there, just so we can give you the right language. Because again, like, this is an intervention package, so it's really clear about what we need to be doing. So adding, when working under the specialist behaviour support line item, as I mentioned before, you need to be a registered behaviour support practitioner to be able to deliver services on improved relationships, and that's with the NDIS Quality and Safeguards Commission. Great. That is all the questions. If anyone had any others, please pop them in. I suppose what I just want to get across to everyone today, this is really tailored to support the participant and reduce their challenging behaviours that are moderate. If your participant has significant behaviours of concern, we need to be advocating and supporting to get improved relationships. So if your practitioner did come out because you put in a referral for this program and we again identify significant risk, we would then be supporting to have that funding added to your plan and support the participant and yourself as the support people. Thank you, everyone.
Claudia, I've got
We just
a
want to take
question.
this opportunity. Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh, sorry, we've got another question come up. Do you use behaviour support practitioner or assistant allied health for IDL programs?
So Jennifer, I think that means if we use our allied health assistants, so the behaviour support practitioner or allied health professional who does have a significant understanding of behaviours, they would be delivering the program. If they feel that ongoing intervention would be really well supported by, we call them habit coaches here, but by an allied health assistant, they would then have that conversation and support to get that referral in. And the primary therapist, who would not be the practitioner that has the specialised skills in behaviour, they would support with ongoing with that sort of thing. Yeah.
Claudia, this is a really good question. Can your program be used by a participant who has a PBS?
Great question, Kathy. No. So we really want to make sure that we are not providing this. It's a different service, but we know that the behaviour support practitioner, they are the expert within those high intensive behaviours. If your participant does have already improved relationship funding, that would mean that they meet the threshold for that level of support. So we wouldn't, just because we don't want to be stepping on toes, and we want to make sure that we're getting the best outcomes for your participant or your son or daughter, or whoever you're asking that question on behalf of today. Jamie, that is a really good question. Can the program be delivered via telehealth or remote area participants? That would probably be a really great question to ask the local hub, just to make sure that we do have the right therapist that can provide that support. That's probably more of a personalised question that we can definitely get the local hub to reach out and have a conversation with you. So for any of those that have questions that maybe haven't been answered today, you can use our inquiries email, and then they'll filter it onto the local hub to get in contact with you. Beautiful.
Thank you so much. We really, really appreciate the time that you've given to us today. And please, any further inquiries, you've got the referral at everydayind.com.au. Thank you, and have an amazing afternoon.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.